Another thing going on, Hunter Biden, people are getting indicted, charged, arrested left and right, no matter who you are right now. Trump, you got probably 5 billion other people. Hunter Biden's also one of these guys that's apparently got a plea deal. So we've been expecting that to go through and him plead guilty. It seems like that fell apart in what they thought was going to go smoothly. Judge had some questions about how the plea deal came about. So she halted some stuff up. So they're still trying to work some stuff out there. The one thing I think we wanted to really kind of, or at least I wanted to comment on with this was like, I think we will both affirm that if someone breaks the law, they should be held accountable according, in the justice system, even in regard to how we as culture kind of view them. It should just be equal. Like, regardless of who you're related to, what your last name is, if you're the son of the president or not, you should be treated just like every other American citizen. You're not above the law. We believe that applies to Hunter Biden. So he should be held accountable and not get any special treatment under the law just because he's Joe Biden's son. I think we both affirm that. And so what I'd like to say is that I think what we can't do is be hypocritical or not apply that equally in our own minds and our own opinions and how we think about it. Because you have Hunter Biden, but then you have Jared Kushner. And so if we're going to look at Hunter Biden, who, again, and Joe Biden, they haven't been accused yet, or they've been accused. They haven't been proven yet or charged yet for money coming from Ukraine, money coming from the Middle East or whatever, and getting rich off of these things from China, whatever, and so on and so forth. But if that's happening on the Biden front, and we also know that it's, Kushner got some pretty big payouts at the end of the Trump presidency, again, from some people in the Middle East as well. We should be asking the same questions, I think, on both ends, and not just ignore Kushner if you're a Republican, ignore Hunter Biden story if you're a Democrat, but that they both should be held accountable if, again, they've committed crimes. Jesus is one of Jesus's. I said this before we started. One of Jesus's favorite rebukes of the Pharisees and other people were hypocrites, calling them hypocrites. So probably don't want to do that or be that. And we saw Mitch McConnell even freeze up. What was that, yesterday, I guess? Again, and so you got Republicans now saying, "Oh, well, he'll tell us when he's ready to go. He's fine. If he told us he's fine, we believe him." But when Dianne Feinstein, who hasn't been able to, or even Joe Biden, that's true. That's a good point. When they can't do their job because it's just some mentally, cognitively not there, they're like, "Oh, we got to get him out. We got to get him out." Like, again, we got to be like, you lose credibility when you're not consistent, I think. So we just got to be, as Christians, don't be, again, we talked about tribalism a few episodes ago. Don't be a Republican, Democrat, be a Christian that has a brain, that has the mind of Christ. So just be consistent on all these things. You have comments on Hunter Biden or Mitch McConnell, Feinstein stuff?
Yes. Hunter Biden should be in jail, and we should have term limits.
Agree with term limits, yes. And Hunter Biden in jail. So just to be clear.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The Hunter Biden stuff is, it's insane to me that we can have all the evidence in the world that we need to put this guy behind bars, and videos and pictures and text messages and all these things of him doing all these wild things that are illegal, and he's just walking.
Yeah.
And even some of these things get brought to court, and the original deal was like, he's gonna just walk, like he's not gonna end up doing any time for this, because it all just comes down to who he is.
Yeah.
And
I know some IRS whistleblowers came out, and they also were witnesses before Congress saying, like, hey, he wasn't really treated as a regular citizen. He had some special treatment in this whole process. And so those claims should be considered.
Which is so obvious.
I don't know if it's as obvious as you're saying, because you talk about like the cocaine stuff.
Talking about all of it. The tax stuff, the cocaine stuff, the job stuff, the overseas payment stuff, the prostitute stuff, the drug, everything.
So the prostitute stuff is under the tax stuff because it's not illegal to. What is illegal to hire a prostitute? But they.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, let's back it up.
Actually, that will be legalized probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that is. I would say that what my point is that is consistent. I feel like again, if every other American citizen can be held to the same standard, is my question, and so other American citizens probably aren't going to jail because they hired a prostitute. Is it illegal? Yeah, but probably getting a fine, slap on the wrist, go back home, stop doing this. Even the drugs thing, they're probably putting in some type of rehab. You know, they're probably not going to unless they're out here selling it, which he might have been. I don't know, but you can't prove that from a video technically. So stuff like that is like, okay, again, any other American citizen's probably not going to get indicted for those things just based off a video, laptops, things we found. And it's like, so again, I'm okay with, again, it being equal under the law. I'm okay with that. What they did find, and they did charge him for, was putting things like the prostitutes or maybe some other weird things that clearly shouldn't be on his taxes. So like, you can't put a prostitute on your taxes because you went to the strip club to meet with some other business leader or whatever, right? So like, that is, I think, what is in the indictments and being he's being held accountable for. Now the question is,
the one big thing was the gun thing. Gun charge,
right? It's because it's a felony.
Yeah.
And so I think ended up saying they basically would drop the felony from his record. I believe. Don't hold me to this, but I think they'll drop it if he stays clean off of drugs and doesn't get any more trouble. Like, it doesn't have the same weight on his record.
I heard that was one of the things that triggered the judge to be like, hold up a second.
Yeah.
What do you mean we're just
right.
a charge like this? She said a charge like this I've never seen just like be wiped away.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
so why are we doing that?
One of the whistleblowers said that normally if there's a felony with a misdemeanor, there's something on the books that says you have to do them both. If there is both, you have to do them both. Like, their plea deals are a thing. Like, we're not trying to sit here and say like plea deals shouldn't be a thing or aren't a thing or whatever. They're definitely a thing. But there is something on the books apparently where if this is the case, you can't just ignore the felony. Like, you can't just throw it out. So anyway, that there's questions around that. The judge is looking into some stuff. We'll see what comes out of it.
Kudos to her for her backbone.
Yeah. There was some talk about her being biased, but I don't care. Look, truth is truth. So whether she's a Republican, Democrat, I don't care. What are the facts? Do the facts warrant the decision she's making? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So, all this talk about, oh, well, she's a Republican. I don't care. I don't care what she is. The facts are going to be the facts. She's a judge. She's supposed to look at the facts. So that's just what it is. But I agree. There's questions even about how Hunter Biden's gotten a lot of his money, how Joe Biden's gotten a lot of his money. Apparently that's being investigated. So
how do all these politicians get their money?
Yeah, we should be asking those questions.
How's Nancy Pelosi, in office for 50 years, making $200,000 a year, and she's worth like $200 million?
Yeah.
But anyway,
good questions. These are good questions we should be asking.